The question came up here a while back about the Santa Fe lights and the floodlights on top of the building. We've got that geared up to start February the 17th, reinstalling all lights on top of it. The non-emergency projects, item number 3 there, Fairgrounds property, the Cody and Rex Baxter building. I had met with the forensic engineer who was brought in to reevaluate these two properties per the direction of Potter County due to the Tri-State Fair Exposition disagreeing with the claims that was presented on that property out there. As you can see right there, the last asterisk under number 4, the engineer basically has decided that the hail damage that we received did put indentations in the roof, but it's not to the point where that is going to make the roof unsafe or not able to use. It's just more of a cosmetic issue. So they kind of cited in what our original inspector looked at as well. So now we face the Lynn My Vista version about this after meeting last week. He was questioning where does Potter County go from here. The Cody building, I can tell you from this standpoint, I also agree it did not receive hail damage. The building has damage due to age, due to moisture from within the building, rust in the building out from the interior going out. So this is something that I asked the Commissioners Court to please look at with the fairgrounds for the next upcoming budget year on what we need to do on the Cody and the Baxter building on replacing these two roof structures. And Dave, if that happens, then we wouldn't want to expend any money, these actual repairs if that's the direction we're looking to proceed. The insurance company did a lot for small items. One of them was elastomeric coating on the Baxter building, and the other one was replacing some skylights on the Cody. So.
And I will inform the court to really piggyback off of Mike's comments as well is all of the property on the Tri-State Exposition, all of that land is being reviewed. As you know, as David and Steve Lapp brought some recommendations to the court that are kind of on hold or pending some of those discussions. So we did have a meeting with them on Friday and actually to tour some of the roofs. Yes, we did get on one of the stipulated, but we hope to have that at the next year's court and have an update for everybody in reference to all of the property there.
Then the last of that item on the roof, David and I will eventually get together. He's still looking to bring in an architect to establish the specifications for the non-emergency work throughout the county.
And TAC has said that they would pay for that, so that would be a reimbursement type thing to bring an architect to write bid specs to go out for the rest of the damage across the county.
Next item is the correctional facility emergency kitchen waste line project. The drawing that I have presented to you, this right here basically mirrors what Ed Dempsey has kept records on out there at the center. We've performed some inspections there recently. Everything that is within green is the tunnels that are completed with the exception of making them straight in order to put the walls in. We've got some dirt to hold the plumbing there as a shelf until it can be replaced. Everything, and that was all through the end of December. Everything in red is basically January's work. My intentions are to have all excavation, everything in red, plus the remaining items on green completed by the end of this month. I would like to have the plumbing start around the 1st of February, completed within that first week, and then start the bricking of the tunnel shortly after that. One of the issues that we run into is finding someone to make the stainless steel sinks that goes in the kitchen. We've got some different avenues we found out about Friday. We're currently working with some local vendors, or the contractor is on getting these things constructed. We did a brick mock-up the other day in the tunnel of what the bricks will look like. I went through it and approved it with some exceptions. I'll get with Mr. Dempsey on that possibly within this week. To let you know the financial status of that project, the Commissioners Court approved $355,000 You approved pay application number 3 today with Allen's Tri-State Mechanical. Your current balance as of today is $248,515. So you will still be facing your January excavation cost, I'd estimate anywhere from neighborhood of 55 to 60,000, and then funding break.
And you still think it'll be within, those guidelines, Mike? Think it'll be under that?
I sure hope so.
Okay, I do too.
The last item. Pat Fitzpatrick and I would like to present to you the fire station project, the volunteer fire station at North Swanson and Mel Frank. We had met with our respective commissioners the other day, Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Bond, to bring this to their attention. Originally, the commissioners, we had presented to you all this project back at budget, Pat and Richard did. The Commissioners Court approved $700,000 to do this project. To kind of put it into perspective, we started with the $700,000. We brought that down to a $600,000 project. Keep in mind, you gotta have a grocery list with that project. So in turn, out of the $700,000, you are looking at a proposed $600,000 project with $100,000 for grocery list. We do not believe the grocery list will get to that point, or get to that cost. So what money we would need over and above that $600,000 would be pulled from that amount. So we had started the project as per directive of the Commission Court. We hired Parkhill, Smith, and Cooper. I've given you something to kind of set the stage here for our discussion. I've given you a financial status report of where we currently stand on this project. That right there basically will support what I've just explained to you on the expenditures and where we're going. The second page right there is the current known percentage per the project right there with Parkhill, Smith, and Cooper to reach 100% construction project right there. You'll see where they've got 15, 20, 40%, and 20% for each one of the different phases. And each time you ask an architect to do something, they will charge you. The third item I'd like to present to you, and I'm not going to go through each one of these, I'll give them a read. The project description, the general project description is what Pat had came up with, him and his staff. They have designed the project to fit their needs to fit on this current site out there. That was basically a 50 by 120 square foot structure, a rectangle with a 2-story. We could have 5 bays in it, and these were vacuum, these were not pulled through bays. So, after today, I sure hope that the general description will change and we can proceed in a new direction. Patton did not ask for the Taj Mahal here. I mean, everything's well within line of what they need for a fire station to put on this current property site. So from this point forward, I'm referring to this as option 1. Do you have any questions off the general description?
I do have a question, if I'm following your document, Mike, on page 1, and this is probably really a question for Pat, in terms of the general description, the first anticipated change will be staffing, with 2 paid employees to work Monday through Friday, and then anticipated change, 2 to 4 employees with 24/7 duty rotations. Are you suggesting additional staff increases?
If and when we get another person, it's always been our plan to try to put 2 people during the day of our 4 people in the daytime into that building so that we can respond quicker on medicals and get a faster response to what's part of the county.
So that's something that you'll present during budget time?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because at the court recently, I don't think this fiscal year, previously, we allocated from a part-time to a full-time. So that was a new initiative to support some of what your concerns were. So I just wanted to highlight that because that caught my attention.
And we felt like while we were doing the building, in the future, there's a possibility, as the county continues to grow and as situations change, we think there's a possibility that we'll need to go to 24-hour staff. And that again will be a major thing to come to the Commissioners Court. But we felt like while we were building this building, that we ought to put it in, that we ought to include that as a possibility in the design of it as we go along.
Okay,
The, next one is pros and cons. This right here is the one I'd really like to get into. Pat and I have sat down, so we've taken everything into consideration regarding option one, the current site of building a new facility on that site. We give you the pros right there. You own your own property, gas service, electrical, water service exists. The cons is where we start getting into additional cost. The property boundary layout, I've given you each a aerial view. If you could please reference that as we go through these. It'll look like this right here. From the aerial view, property boundary and layout, of course, it's not rectangle or square. You very well could look at adding or purchasing adjacent property to put in retaining walls out there in order to construct a building, and I'll get into that in just a few moments. The items in red there on your drawing, those two lines indicate the overhead power transmission lines that run through the property out there. You have a 35-foot easement on that. The current well service location is directly northwest of the property. You'll see, in the building there, you'll see a small tree. That is where the well is at. And then your septic system is at the bottom right-hand area of your building. It is within the Excel easement, so it's definitely gonna have to be moved for that reason. So now we're trying to fit a building on this site right here. In order to fit a building on this site, you're gonna relocate your well, you're gonna relocate your septic system. Visited with Commissioner Kelly and Long today, Pat and I did, just to make you aware of this. Under the state laws, you are required to have 1.01 acres to construct a well or septic system on that. Any property that was purchased and subdivided prior to 1988, your grandfather, with certain restrictions, you can go ahead and put it back on the property. The septic system, this right here would be considered commercial or other property. You're required to have a licensed contractor install a septic system. A lot different than a private landowner. If you install a septic system within the 100-year flood plan, you've got to meet certain requirements. Part of this property does sit on the 100-year flood plan on the west and southwest portion of the property. I've given you the requirements right there on a septic system. Your domestic well, you're required to not install it within 100 foot of your septic system unless it is placed in concrete, and you're allowed to put it within that 50 to 100 foot distance. So just those two options right there, that right there is a major concern that the site is not suitable. Another drawing that I've given you right there is a preliminary boundary, topographic, and title search drawing. It's got a yellow kind of area on the right side of that page. You can see the boundaries right here. Like I mentioned, this is preliminary. I'll get a final draft presented to the court to make it part of an official record. The area in yellow is owned by another property owner off Sunset. So through the years, nobody has said anything. The fire department has utilized that as one of the main egresses in and out of the property. It's kind of referred to as a prescription usage, meaning the property owner more likely said, hey, you can use it, but someday that can very well change. If another person was to acquire the property, or this property owner get upset at the county. Going back to the pros and cons, After you look at your septic system, as I mentioned, your electrical primary service, we've got a drop hole out there that will have to be relocated in order to do any work on the property. This is located adjacent to the well. This brings in your primary electrical service. Pat has a concern, see if you build on this site here, the department's operations, the equipment will be stored outside, and also has a concern of security of the equipment, even just within a very close distance of the existing fire station. Concrete retaining walls was not a cost anticipated when this was first looked at, but knowing how the property of the building was set on this property, it's gonna kind of be set at an angle, you would definitely be required to install it. So with all this said, your A&E fees, your architect and engineer fees, now you're gonna start adding in for all this additional work. They're gonna charge you for all these other additional items that they've got to look at in order to make this project a reality. In my opinion, one that puts the nail in the coffin is item number 10. I'm sorry, let me back up. Item number 8 is the geotech. If you look at that current building right there, directly down from it down to the bottom of the page, right there, where you can see the blue line on the property. This has been filled in by the road bridge through the years, the marl ditch, dirt that they probably have scraped and put on this side. So the soil compaction right there, what a geotech will do, they will come in and drill it, they will test for the types of soil that's there, the compaction of it, to tell you whether or not this property is suitable to build upon. I'm talking to you right now, you're gonna be removing all that soil and bringing you in and packing it in 6 to 8 inch lifts in order to build a property on this site, or build a building on this site. Once that's accomplished, your current building that's there, you will raise it, you'll tear it down, and we'll do a geotech test beneath it. You very well could be faced with, if that comes back negative, of removing the soil that's beneath the current slab and putting new soil in order to build a building. So there's a lot of cons that came up with this current site right here and utilizing it. Out of the pros and cons, the last page that I've given you a lot of good pros regarding option 2 now, that will reference being a new fire station or a fire station located on a new piece of property. The cons are definitely a lot less. Some of the things you would be doing automatically on the current site, you will be doing on the second site. But there's always that what if, something else comes up. Pat will be the first to tell you on this project, we've had a lot of those issues come up that's threw a red flag out there. It's just, to me, not, in my opinion, not the best suitable site to construct a fire station. So, on my behalf, I'm asking the Commissioners Court today to allow us to proceed in the direction to select a new piece of property for this fire station site with a minimum of 2 acres.
To me, you should get a piece of property that, taking all the costs into consideration of what we'd have to stay at the same location. Seems to me like we should be able to acquire some property that with those funds, with that money saved. And I would encourage us to consider a location. I don't know where that is yet, but Leon, you might want to kind of jump in on this.
Well, you want to stay within the same area, I would think.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know what's going on.
There is some there's some property that's close to there that's for sale, and there's some other property around that belongs to other people that we possibly get some from.
If I lived in that area, I'd certainly want a fire station close by.
Yeah.
So, seems to me like you get some property owners that might be encouraged to deal with the county and maybe selecting a piece of property. There's a lot out there.
And there's a lot, there's land for sale, but there's pretty good chunks of land. They pay a lot of money. So I don't know, just have to check and see.
So Mike, some of the cons, and I'm thinking of a way to state this, so bear with me here. Some of the cons, a question I had initially is, as we talk about the make sure I'm referencing the right document. The general terms, the specs, I guess, if you will. Your list of what will be in there, what the structure will be like, square footage, that type of thing. And some of the new initiatives that I think is embedded in here, like these offices and kitchen space, and some of that's being extended, that's not at Station 3. Some of these things aren't at Station 3 today.
No, ma'am.
Right, okay, I was pulling up the pictures to make sure I was thinking of the correct station. If we move to a model that was more appropriate, that's similar to the existing square footage today, would we still have all of these problems? I mean, is part of that because we're building it larger, or is part of it just inherent to doing any new construction on that piece of land?
I think you could answer that yes and yes to both of those questions right there. The, if you don't mind, where the current building is, my opinion, after visiting with Pat on the program in this building, is not adequate in size. If we built one the same size as Quonset Barn, they need something much larger. To build on that site, yes, you could build on that site with a small building, but you're still gonna run into the restrictions of the well, the septic, all these other different issues and how you position the property. You would still tear the building down, then you would still put him without a fire station. You come in and do your geotech test, hope it comes back good. If not, it comes back negative, and you put him out a lot longer in order to remove that soil back. If I could state this, this project right here really is a very outstanding project for the citizens of Potter County. This right here needs to be addressed as your model project for future fire stations to come. The volunteer fire department through the years, not with this court, has been basically a stepchild of the county. They just give what's handed to them. So what we're looking to do is to take this project right here and make it be a standout of what Potter County Commissioners Court can do for the volunteer fire station, hoping that it serves as a model for the future ones to come. It may not be the same size, it may be smaller, they may be larger, but at least you've got a good model right here for the future of Potter County fire stations.
I agree, Mike, and I think this court has been very progressive in terms of the fire department and really bringing you up to par with the size of the county, the needs of the county. But, you know, as you know, some of this was very unexpected, or at least from my perspective,
It is.
very unexpected.
I'll tell you what, whenever they first brought it to the Commissioners Court at budget, I was very concerned whenever I heard that this project was being brought forth. Pat and Richard, and they worked well with me going through this. We've addressed every issue that we can think of regarding a project, so that's why we're presenting it to you today. I'm asking police to not even look to build on this site right here. Let's look for a new site where your money's spent wisely regarding the fire station.
Is the water supply adequate at your current location? I guess that'd be a concern I'd have if you need more water.
What we need for our water there is we need basically domestic water.
Just domestic.
Yes, we don't, if we fill a truck there, if we fill a truck in the station anywhere, we're just laying the garden hose in the truck and letting it flow up, put 100 gallons back in or something. If we've got a truck down or we're running a seam, running some kind of operation, we go back to hydrants or to some other water source. Putting in a well to supply this water would be, I don't think, a major situation.
So the time, excuse me.
No, I was just saying, I would agree with Commissioner Kelly, and I think it's certainly what Commissioner Church is indicating, is to at least look at options, at least like to look at it and see what this week to work, fiscal year is going.
The timetable that I presented to you is basically based off option one. So you can take that timetable and kind of add to it, however long it take, another month, 2 months, 3 months, add to it, and kind of put you into perspective of how the project can proceed from there. The next document I've given you is a option 2 schematic. This right here is one thing that we looked at. If you acquire new property, you can do pull-throughs, where you do not have the issue of backing into other vehicles. And
Has that happened before?
Yes.
Okay.
then, this right here very well could change, and we'll look at it from the standpoint converting back to what the original direction was at budget time. what was the village originally presented, 75?
75 by 75. We were talking about double stack bays at that point still.
That's the optimal size that you need in 75, 75, is that right?
With that, we were considering we were gonna have 5 bays, but 2 of the bays, they would be too deep. There would be 2 deep and 2 deep and then 1. And with everything that's gone on and with the ability to do it, it would be better to just have 5 bays lined out straight so that they can all be pull-throughs.
So your general description would change now on option 1 to a new option 2, and doing some modifications right there on Century Path pull-through lanes.
It's not a large, the difference if we could do the pull-through bays, it takes out a little bit of the space that we were gonna use behind a couple of them. But there's not a huge difference in it, and the ability to just pull in and pull through without having to back up all the time. Trucks going forward are much safer than trucks backing up.
So the last document I need to present to you is a copy of the letter I presented to the architect, shut them down until further notification of how we're looking to proceed forward with this.
Harry, do you have any concerns that the court should be made aware of with this new information?
Just working with the official funds when necessary. Projects go on
Thank you for your report. So can we have your approval then to start looking at?
Certainly have mine. It's the best option at this time.
I think we can start to.
We need that in the form of a motion.
We're changing directions. Yes, please.
I will put that in the form of a motion that the Fire Station 3 property, we need to look and hopefully find a location that's beneficial not only for the county, but for the citizens out there in the county. And within that area. Motion approved and second, all in favor?
I make one statement.
Sir.
If we do go this way, I hope that we'll consider selling that property. Not like all the other property we own, and we just kept ownership. Let's start this first.
You may not be able to because there's a restriction the deed gave it to us that said we have to use it for our station versus our.
That was that dollar that we bought it for, I think.
Something like that.
It says $10 and $10 other valuable considerations.
You're not saying.
We had in the, we talked about locating the family that owned that property.
We're working on that. So we won't say we can't do it. We're just kind of, we have to be careful.
Okay. All right. All right, that sounds like we got, going in the right direction there. Hopefully we get something done. Thank you. Item 16, executive session item. We already have a couple of items that we want to put on the next meeting. Okay. Item 17, jail report, 528, 95 people.
528, Commissioner?
528, 95 people. You keep them out of jail. County insurance items,
There's nothing new to report.
agenda items, we have
I do have one quick question. Dave, in our packet was included a racial profiling report that I don't think we can recognize. It's not an agenda item, but typically these are recognized. So I'm not sure what the process is, but I did want to let you know we do have this in our packet.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I didn't put it in, I didn't ask for that, so I don't know if it's, I assume the intent was to be recognized, but
Yeah, we traditionally recognize that for each of them.
we can do that later.
Okay.
There's no hurry on one constable.
Excuse me, did y'all take a vote on that?
We did? Yes, this was.
4-0. Agenda items for the next meeting. Talked about a couple of things for that.
I moved, it's not an agenda item, I just wanted to publicly thank the court for the plants, the flowers, offerings of condolences for the passing of my mother, and that some of the received many other cars. Appreciate that.
Certainly praying for you, Commissioner, for your case.
And that being said, this court is adjourned. See you next
But that's part of That's right. That's right. You sit
Uh,
that. You see, they're showing like from there to there to there, but mine is further down. So they'll go below.
So will the blockage dissolve on its own once they?
Well, I think it just stays there. And this will like this.
So the
Just those questions.
I know there's. Do I just get through?
Or not, but
I'm not sure that we do have that, but I'm not. But if I know that, yeah, and so they'll. You can eliminate one. I'll have to double check
And so people are, we'll take care of it. Listen, I'm working here last night. Well, and that's how we like
Yes.
And I have, you know,
correct it, or this is. So how many things? I have one that wants to buy part of the church street. Not Old Church Road, it's part of the Church Street is also struck by the I just figured this visit, have scheduled appointments.